Hello everyone and welcome to Stefan's podcast. Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I've got news stories coming from you from Japan and what's going on in my little island here in the middle of the ocean. So the first news story for you is a survey has just taken place in Japan and it has found that 1 in 3 single people have never even been on a date in Japan. They took a huge survey from people aged 20 to 49 and 1 out of 3 of those single people have never even been on a date or they haven't dated anyone at all. They've been single their whole lives. Now I will say some of the people surveyed were, the start was 20, so that's still pretty young not to go on a first date, but it goes all the way up until 49. And that is a very sad and lonely thing. You guys got to get on Bumble, Tinder, I don't know what the Japanese version of all that is, but get on it. Get yourself a boyfriend or girlfriend and do it now because it is a sad and lonely life if you don't date anyone. But this is Japanese culture. They all work so hard. They do 60, 70-hour weeks all the time. When do they have time to date someone? I don't know. You're wasting your life. Get yourself a nice boyfriend or girlfriend out there. So, speaking of sad and lonely life for you, the next Japanese news story for you is a man on a Japanese train unfortunately died when he was on the train. But here's the crazy thing about that. This happens all the time. People die, of course. The crazy thing about that here is he wasn't discovered for 12 hours and travelled a whopping 650 kilometres all the way being dead, and no one even noticed. It wasn't until when the train was going into the depot when somebody realised that he wasn't sleeping and that he was actually dead. A sad, sad story, or if you love trains, a great story. You got to see all of Japan in your passing moments. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but a sad, sad story nonetheless. It really, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that is like a Japan very, very lonely thing. I do not like that whatsoever. No, I don't. So the next news story for you coming out of Japan is Japan are using AI in a really, really cool way. So they are using it to detect fires and floods. They have got these security cameras set up in major town cities. I'm sure you might have seen it in the news, or if there was an earthquake, they will have the footage off like a city shaking. But the cameras that they use for earthquakes to monitor if somewhere is shaking, they are also using now to detect if there's a fire. So the AI can detect if there's smoke coming out of a building, and apparently it's so good it can even do it during the rain. And it also can detect if there's a flood. Recently here in Tsushima we had some floods, and this would have been fantastic because it can stop anything going on. They can get police straight to it, especially in a fire. That's serious life-saving stuff. So they can get fire engines to it straight away, save that, and then bish bang bosh, everyone is safe. Now of course I get a little bit worried when I see news stories like this because I think, oh, if they can detect fire, what else can they do? You know, you hear stories of China using it to detect how people are walking, how their gaits, and they can identify people. Very, very scary stuff, but maybe good if there's a fire. Who knows? Who knows? But that leads into our next news story. Of course, this week is the week that we are getting the brand new 1,510,000 yen bills. I actually went to the bank today to see if I could withdraw one. I went to the ATM, got some money out, and of course it's the old one. Everything here in Tsushima, we get everything a little bit later than everyone else because we're an island. I don't think the money has reached here yet, or I just got unlucky with the ATM because I wanted to see it and I wanted to show it in today's video. But they didn't have any. Very, very sad. But what you can buy if you're in Tokyo, if you're mauling around, is you can get bread shaped exactly like these money. You can get 1,000, 5,000 and 10,000 yens, and they have got some incredibly good flavors and they look absolutely delicious. Inside they have got like sweet bean paste, and oh, they look great. I really wanted to go and have one, and I was looking because I'm in Tokyo in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully they might still have this and I can go and get one. It's a little bit far away from where I'm staying, but if I have time, these look absolutely fantastic. So if you are in Tokyo, I recommend you go down and get yourself some of these delicious sweetbread yen because, oh man, they look absolutely delicious. So apparently the 5,000 yen bread is filled with blueberry and peanut butter cream, which is delicious. They are apparently being sold in Kitaku, Tokyo, and I will put the address in the description so that you can go and find this bread shop because they do look really, really good, and they look a lot of fun as well. So if you come to Japan, something fun, something to get a picture of, and a cool little memory for you. And the next news story coming out from Japan is a heat wave going along in Japan. If you go, especially around Kyushu area, there are a lot of warnings at the moment to avoid heat stroke. Make sure you stay out of the sun, make sure you hydrate properly. And some schools get really, really overzealous with this. I do not understand the vice principals and teachers that would go along with this. This is stupid, and to be honest, if you're a student, just ignore this rule whatsoever. So they are trying, the school put out a huge announcement saying that they do not want students to reach and go and get water without asking for permission. So apparently it's so hot at the moment that students, would you believe it, are going to go and get water without asking their teachers permission. And I can't blame them. In some of these classrooms, it is incredibly hot. And some schools as well, they have gone over the top with this whole COVID stuff. So even though COVID, for most people, thing of the past now, it's completely gone, disappeared. Japan have always been slow, dragging their heels and getting over all these policies. And some of the schools are still leaving like the windows open, the doors open so that there's a breeze, so there's no AC going on, and they've just got this hot mess of steam just like going around in the classroom, and it's crazy. So the kids, who rightly so, are going to get themselves a drink from their little water containers that pretty much every Japanese student here has. They have a water bottle and it sits in sort of the corner of the room, or some occasionally sit to their desk, and they're saying it's so rude that they're doing this without asking for the teacher's permission. Well, if you have to ask every 10 seconds, you're disturbing the class more than if you just go and take the drink. If you're a Japanese student in my class, just take a drink. You don't have to ask me for it. It's silly. Some Japanese rules go over the top, and there is zero common sense to them. There is a thing that I have here sometimes, is does the rule make sense? Yes, follow it. And then sometimes, is the rule incredibly stupid like this? Then, don't follow it. Because if you're in an office, you don't ask, oh, can I go and get a drink? No, you just drink it like an adult. Doesn't make any sense, and this place is very, very weird. This is in Saitama, which oddly enough was the same prefecture which has only just allowed police to wear sunglasses, and similarly enough, go and get something to drink if they're working and it's hot. There's something wrong with that prefecture. Really, really weird. Really, really weird. Why wouldn't they just let people drink water? I don't understand. If it's hot, just drink it. Use a bit of common sense, but no, you must follow the rules. Ugh. Too much. If you're thirsty, get a drink. Don't be crazy. So, next news story coming out for you is... Oh yes, this is an interesting one which I was reading today. This isn't necessarily Japan related. This is to do with Threads. Threads hits 175 million users on its first anniversary. Now, this is actually probably the first social media thing which I haven't even tried, and I don't want to. There's too many social media things out there. I'm not a huge fan of Twitter. I don't even have a Twitter account. I used to have a Twitter account and then I deleted it because all I was just saying was just people whinging and complain. It was just complaints every day, and I was just going, this isn't good for me. I don't need this just wall of people complaining all the time. And I haven't been on Threads. They say it's in competition to Twitter or X now. That it's funny how X has been around for what, a year, 2 years, and everyone still calls it Twitter. Very few people call it X, and if people call it X, they then say X, formerly Twitter. They a weird change. I don't know why anyone would change a big business for no reason. Why Elon Musk decided to change the name, I do not know. But yeah, this has now got 175 million users, which to me seems low, a little bit low considering how much Instagram has. Everyone's on Instagram. Instagram's got to have 1 billion, 2 billion users, a lot of people. 175, that seems a little bit low to me, but there we go. A weird thing. I think if you like Instagram, you don't particularly want to be on Twitter reading stuff all the time. It's different type of people. I like Instagram. Some people might like both, but not for me. Not for me. So the next news story coming out for you is to do with visas, and there is this new thing going around that they're trying to change the rules on, I think they call it dependent visas here. So if I have a child here in Japan and I'm on a working visa like I am now, those children, the longer you stay in Japan, the more rights that they sort of build up. So if I have a child and he stays here from sort of elementary school all the way up through high school, he actually has a easier time getting a visa than if I had a child and he stays here from junior high school going to high school. They have a completely different set of rules, what they can do, what they can't do, if they can work, if they can set up a business. This really surprised me that if I at the moment had a son or daughter who came here when he was from junior high school, stays junior high school, graduates and wants to stay, it is a lot harder for him to get a visa by himself. He has to stay on my visa than what it is if it was an elementary school, which for me doesn't really make sense, because if you go all the way through the junior high school system and the high school system, you are very much, you know a lot about Japan. Japan needs more people, so why not bring them along? It was very surprising to me as well that they can't even set up a business. That was a big one. In the UK, pretty much anyone can come and set up a business. Same in America, as far as I know. You just go and set up a limited liability company and boom, you're in business, baby. But here it seems a lot different, and I don't know why they don't want people to set up business. Seems strange to me. Maybe it's because they're worried about people just leaving and bringing a load of debt or something. But to me, the more business you bring to Japan, the better. You know, bring more money. It doesn't make sense to me. But something to look out for if you are if you're a parent and you have children on these visas. The rules are changing, so maybe if they want to stay, then you have to look into this, but they are looking at changing it. So good luck. I hope the kids out there get a good, nice visa. Next news story coming up for you is, there has been a very naughty teacher, which I am surprised that this teacher didn't lose his job. And this is the first news story where I'm talking about a teacher scandal going on that hasn't been something sexual. This is a good bad teacher for once. So a junior high school teacher who fraudulently received 150,000 yen while on a working holiday to supervise clubs. So basically he would get paid every time that he would supervise a club when on a working holiday. So he would get, like, let's say 1,000, 2,000 yen each time. He was making it out like he was doing more clubs than what he actually was. So he was getting all this money, and it has now been found out that he didn't run these holidays, and now they want the government sort of want their money back. And the school that he works at didn't fire him for this. No, they are now just garnishing his wages for 6 months. So for the next 6 months, he is on a 10% lower salary, some of this to pay back and some of this as a punishment. But I was very surprised. Japan sometimes seem very slow at firing people. So every week since I've been doing this podcast, I've been talking about bears and how dangerous they are in Japan. And this week again, there has been another bear attack. Can you believe it? A hunter was out trying to do his hunting thing as he normally does, and he found a bear inside a bear trap. So he went to approach the bear, and then the bear got out of the trap and then attacked him. He bit his face, he bit his arm, he caused him all sorts of injuries. But this hunter managed to get away. By the way, the hunter is 70 years old. This 70-year-old hunter managed to get away, climb down a mountain and go into his office, of all places, where one of his co-workers phoned the police and the fire brigade to get him to see what was going on. He has been absolutely destroyed, but this 72-year-old man somehow is still alive and not in a life-threatening condition. How anyone manages to survive against a bear, I do not know, especially against a bear that's been in a trap and get away from it biting his face and his arms. Amazing stuff. I will say, sometimes you play with fire if you go hunting bears. This is the sort of things that can happen. So don't go into the wilderness and hunt bears, but also be very, very careful in Japan at the moment, because there are a lot of bears. If you go into a place where there are bears, then bring a bell, do whatever you can to make sure you don't get attacked by bears, because there has been multiple cases in the last couple of months where people have died from bear attacks. Be careful, be careful. Everyone gets worried about going snorkeling, scuba diving because of sharks. I am almost 100% sure that there have been more deaths by bears alone in Japan than probably in the whole world, because in the whole world there's normally only about 5 deaths by shark attacks every year. So I know at least this year in Japan, I've seen 2 or 3 news stories from bear attacks, and I don't keep super up to date with the news, and some of these might slip past me, so I would be very surprised. But there has been a lot more attacks in the news. It seems every week there is a new bear attack, so be careful, be careful. Bears are not your friend, no matter what Winnie the Pooh says. Don't trust him, don't trust him. So next news story coming up for you. Oh, this was a fun one. So there is a man who lives by a lake, or does something to do with this lake, and he decided to build himself his own road across this lake. He has built it, finished it, and now he can travel from one side of the lake all the way down to the other. And he phoned up the prefecture to say, hey, just to let you know, I have gone ahead and built my own road across the lake. I know I should have contacted you to say that I was doing this, but I didn't want to. So he's done this. The council or the prefecture have told him to get rid of the road that's going across this lake, and at the moment we don't know if he's going to do it, and we also don't know the motive. I wanted to know if he lives on one side. There's a great reason for it. The news story was very vague. It's got some great pictures of this new road that goes across this lake, but I was thinking, who first of all, who has the ability to build a road across a lake and then doesn't ask for permission for it and then admits that he's done it? Weird news story, only in Japan. Sometimes you get these crazy things because the Japanese people are a law onto their own, but good luck to him. And if he could come to my house and build me a nice road, that would be very, very nice. My road here is a little bit tattered and old, needs refurbishing. That is all of the news stories that we have for you here. What's been going on here in my little island? We have been getting some serious heat here. It's hot, 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 and everyone is tired from it. I noticed my students are all tired from it. I'm tired from it, and it is not fun. July is not fun in Japan. If you're going to visit Japan, definitely do not come in the summer. There are so many great months to see it. I think the best period to visit Japan is probably from October until probably end of November. That is a fantastic time. September is pretty nice, but that can be hot. And then March, all the way around until sort of the beginning of June is very, very nice. Sometimes March can be a bit cold. And even I think if you're going to visit either Japan in winter or in summer, come in winter because it's a lot easier to get warm here. You know, they have a lot of onsens. It's very, very nice in the winter. It's a little bit romantic with all the snow. But in the summer, it is a hot, fiery hell. And I'm in that hot, fiery hell at the moment, and I'm not enjoying it. And I cannot wait till it gets a little bit cooler, but we have to get through the next month. And on my little island here, the UV, when I look on the meters for it, it has UV 11, which it classes as dangerously high, and I've been sunburnt so many times. I played football for half an hour outside last week and got sunburnt, so not fun at all. But this is Japan for you. It's not always good. This is the bad couple of months, and then we get to a lot of fun. And that's all that's going on my little island here. I will see you on Monday for our next episode, and I will have a lot more news stories for you and some stories of what's been going on here in my little island. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching. No, I'll see you on Tuesday. I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.